Sir Ken Robinson, an English author, speaker, and an international advisor on education, mentioned in one of his TED Talks that every educational system on earth has the same hierarchy of subjects. On the top are math and the languages, then the humanities, and at the bottom are the arts. There is a hierarchy among the arts as well. Arts and music are usually given a higher status than dance and drama. He mentioned there isn't an educational system on earth that teaches kids dance every day, the way they teach math, for instance. Why not, he questions. We tried to find out schools which digress a little from this path, and one of these is Pathashaala. Pathashaala started not because of a conscious decision to start a school, but it happened because the wind blew an opportunity.
The school grew out of the work of the school in Chennai, the teachers of the school, their discussions, their conversations. So we were thinking, if we had to have a school, what would the school of the 21st century look like? What new things would we have to do? The schools have a certain way of functioning, including the school in Chennai. We had done many exciting things, many new things. But then we were wondering, what are some things that would have to change? And this was the time when people were very, very conscious of the environment. So that became a very important aspect. That whatever we did, we would have to do it in a way which would be sustainable environmentally. Then there were questions of pedagogy. Pedagogy is a very vexed subject, where the way schools have been running, basically information has been given a lot of value. The teachers have been teaching students. But in some sense, with the end of the century, the age of teaching died. Teaching is finished. The age of learning has really come of age. And the age of learners and lifelong learners has come of age.
As I told you earlier, some papers will be like this.
Perhaps there is a need to redefine what teaching means. Would it mean that the teachers have to create an atmosphere where learning can happen? Is this the role of the teacher? What would one do if one had to think of the kind of educational transaction in the 21st century?
Making sense out of information is a far more critical ingredient. They would have to understand how to listen to each other. And they would have to be open to many sources of knowledge. In the traditional setup of school and learning institutions, people are open to the person who's supposed to be the teacher or the professor or something. But we are not open to other sources of learning. And it has also become clear that there are multiple ways of looking at anything. There are multiple ways of understanding things. People also know that when you do something, you understand far better than when you just listen.
This angle. So we don't know, so probably we know the answer to it, but then there should be a certain way of proving it, right? So that's what the notes, what the question is.
This is exactly the figure that is put up there?
Yeah.
My way of teaching is just interacting with the kids, and it is just, you don't throw up the answer in the air at first. You just probe, you make them investigate, analyze, and make them think. It's important. It's important that they be with the question, be with the doubts.
How do you get them to stay interested when they dislike mathematics?
Yeah, first you need to motivate them. You take a topic, you connect them to a real life. So what most of them feel bored up is they don't see the connection between math and the real life. So this, you should act as a bridge. The class here should act as a bridge in connecting these two things. So first thing is motivation is the key.
About methodology of teaching, I would look at it as educational philosophy as a whole. One of the things we talked about when we began the school was a wholly different way of living. And I think that's what it means. So the academic transaction is just one part, and you have the whole space out here as a classroom.
when children come here, they see that this place seems to speak to them non-verbally. It speaks to them of something which they are not able to put their finger on, but they feel it is not too finished, it is not too polished, it allows them to try things out, and that builds, I think, courage, resilience, and all kinds of other things like confidence.
The children here, and this is the other beautiful thing about Pathashaala, they participate in everything. They write proposals, they are part of meetings, they're a very empowered lot.
It's what we call a student-centered process. The students are actually involved in this process of creating even the syllabus. They sit with the teacher and discuss the syllabus, and a lot of discussions happen. It's not just chalk and board approach where the teacher stands at the blackboard and writes some theorems or laws, and the children have to follow. There is a big deviation from that.
It is rather well established that when children are active in the classroom, not passive, when children question, when they do mind maps, when they discuss with each other, they learn far better. So rather than arriving at final conclusions, education is a journey.
I did a bit of studying here and I found that I could do it in my own rhythm, in my own fashion, far less structured and less coercion compared to the school. So I liked it here.
What I like about this school is it's very eco-friendly. I like the solar project, the solar lamps. We have 24-hour light, which is really great.
What do you like here? The nature around us, it's really good. Lots of flora and fauna, and the atmosphere is very. It influences you. Like you see a lot of wildlife over here. Eco-friendly. Yeah.
The way also the teachers teach is also different compared to others.
It's not only the way they teach, the relationship between the teachers and
the students. One more thing I like about the school is the sun, because in cities and all, the sun, we cannot see the sun the rest of the day because the buildings and all are blocking the sun, and we don't get enough vitamin D for our health.
No fail and no pass here.
No fail, no pass.
Only if you get fail, you will be directly go to next district.
My heart, I don't like it.
I don't like studies
Really, I don't like anything here.
Why not?
Food today is good, except noodles. This I don't like the food.
You don't like the food?
Studies one day one whole subject, and that's really good. Heavy. I'm like after the end of the day I'm heavy-headed.
I like the kind of education over here. It's kind of easy. It's flexible, and it's not like the other schools. They give you punishment after you do something wrong. They just in this school they just kind of try to talk to you what happened wrong. That's why I like the school. It's kind of more kind and it's more like that.
As a Krishnamurti school, they don't believe in using fear, reward, or punishment to motivate the children. The children are extremely bold. They aren't afraid to ask questions. Asking questions is quite encouraged. They also encourage children to find out for themselves. What they believe is that in this ambience, the kids tend to look at nature very carefully. This kind of observation and becoming one with the background are extremely important educational opportunities.
So Pathashaala is also about building attitude. Children do all the similar little tasks that have to be done. sweeping the floor, wiping the tables, cleaning the dishes, participating in cooking. You might have noticed children love to stand and serve. They do these things quite spontaneously.
So Ashwin, tell me, why are you cleaning people's messes?
I mean, it's more time efficient. Like, we have 1 hour to finish lunch and go, and if everybody clean their own plates, it'll take a lot of time. And also, it's kind of good because the students and the teachers can get engaged into one work and work together as a team. It's called rotation in short.
In the 21st century workplace, we don't know who's going to be the person you're going to work with. They could be from literally any part of the world. And if our mind and our attitude is not one which allows us to collaborate choicelessly, I think we will fall behind and we won't know how to conduct ourselves. And our inner resources won't be strong enough to meet this situation.
It is a known fact that people learn better when they teach others. Pathashaala exhibits a multi-age group environment in its classrooms, which creates a space for different people to have different abilities, different learnings in the same environment.
Most of the learning which we get is mostly from the students itself, because they sometimes may understand what I may not when a teacher is teaching. So they tend to make me understand through my own ways, like how I may understand maths and many other subjects.
So what I feel is that I imagine myself I'm in 6th. So I learn more from the 7th grader. I learned something. You see, there's a kid named Krishna Raj. He is in 5th and he knows all the 7th standard formulas and everything that he learned from us. That is how it goes.
Pathashaala is a very unique place in the sense that there is no difference between a teacher and a student. In fact, we don't like to call ourselves teachers or students. We call ourselves the educator-learner and the learner-educator.
I think Pathashaala is attempting a quality of education where each human being, regardless of who or she is, has a dignified, respectful space where people will listen with care. And hopefully this person will carry this in his or her journey as a young person. And frankly, this I think will hold people in far better stead than just some marks and just... People have to be lifelong learners. I think in the 21st century people will change vocations many times with the change in technology, change of place, change of the social conditions. I don't think people are going to be stuck to one career or one job or one role for very long periods of time. They'll have to display much more flexibility. They will have to display much more adaptability and resourcefulness to move and do different things, So that is the kind of thrust of our education. The strengths of the school, I think, are many. One is that we are not ashamed to say that we are a small school. We are just trying some things. We are attempting some new steps in education. The other strength is, I think, our fundamentals, that we will not use authority, power, coercion, and force people into doing things which we want done our way. Pathashaala is a place of invitations. The strength here is the conversations and the questions that people can raise. The non-teaching staff in the kitchen will ask questions, the children ask questions, the gardeners will ask questions, everybody asks questions. And we don't pretend that we have all the answers. So we can discuss things together as equal human beings. And that is one of our biggest strengths. And Krishnamurti said something very profound. He said, the far vision contains the near. If you are gazing into the distance, it contains whatever is near. But if you are looking just near under your nose, your vision doesn't contain what's very far away. And Pathashaala, fortunately, in this landscape also, with the skies, with the beautiful sunsets, is focused on the vast distances. People gaze upon the distances every day. And hopefully, this gaze tells us a little bit better how we should relate to what is nearby.